Greetings, my dear friends, and welcome to the Steam Next Fest demo of Sovereign Syndicate. Checked this out very briefly earlier. It looks fun. Choice-based RPG. You play as a Minotaur in Victorian London. It seems a bit weird, but it's also an awesome premise. But yeah, I only checked it out for 5 minutes earlier. But let's start a new game. Follow Atticus Daley as he explores the seedy underbelly of London's East Docklands in search of his mother, the reason for living, and his next fix. Atticus is a prisoner to the voices in his mind, giving in to his vices, surrendering to base urges, or being forced to reflect on a life gone wrong. Which voice speaks loudest? Animal instinct? Spryness? Oh. Blaming his fiery temper on his Minotaur blood, he embraces intimidation and combat, swearing he has a handle on his vices. As a magician, he is trained in escape tricks and sleight of hand. He is light-footed and nimble for a Minotaur. Rationality suits him in a world that is unforgiving. He meets challenges with a silver tongue and understands basic machinery. For wit, and for self-discipline, he grew up in a crowded orphanage using illusory magic to disguise himself as human. He moderates his urges and keeps a cool head. I like self-discipline. So Atticus Daley is going to be a reasonably self-disciplined young Minotaur. Because why the hell not? Let's do this. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask and he will tell you the truth. A dark shape looms over you. Against the guttering lamplight, the black-shadowed form hovers unsteadily like a cutout in a magic lantern. You can't be sure whether it's a real living thing or another grim manifestation from your week-long bender, which at first blush you appear to have survived. Or is it the face of death come to claim you? In any case, the spectre seems to be in no hurry to move along. Painful memories prick your gin-addled brain. Now you recall why you're here. You chose this alleyway in London's East End to drown the last of your days in drink. Well, if this apparition isn't the angel of death, then even at suicide you have failed. Old crone.
Atticus? He's coming. Wake up!
Get out of my head, you old crone. Atticus Daley. Nothing but a dark silhouette for a face. No, it's a mask. His voice is cold and mechanical, like the hinge of a heavy iron door, concealing his identity, no doubt. I shall try to speak. Who are you? Instead of a response, he proffers me a tin stippled flask. A small kindness. I will take it eagerly. Been hoping for a hair of the dog, but alas, it's only the chloric bite of London tap water. Better than a parched mouth and at least a bit restorative. Stowing the flask, the stranger leans back into the dim light of the gas lamps. I can finally see his features in full. He wears a brass-buttoned travelling waistcoat, complete with a scarlet hood and a mask of ornate gold panels. It glitters in the gaslight, delicately crafted. Finery like I've never seen. On your feet now, you sorry sight. Dizzy from the head rush, it's hard to keep my balance. Who are you, and what do you want with me? A friend in need of your services. A friend? But a man of his station so deep in the docklands spells trouble. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I need a moment to get my bearings. Fair enough, but I'll be watching. The stranger pulls back his waistcoat, showing off a gilded flintlock pistol. Over the years, many a minge bag have come to collect. This balmy naff is no different. I love that you've got the tooltips for concepts that someone unfamiliar with the Victorian vernacular might find difficult to understand. Like balmy naff. An unstable or mentally unwell, contemptible person, or anyone lacking in taste or style. He's already been said to be fairly stylish, so he must be a contemptible person. Anyway. So many outstanding debts and foregone second chances. Is it all catching up to me? Weary or worse, no matter. Let it be tonight, then. -5 hope. Temperament is a representation of your character's mental state, progressing from desperate, weary, content, optimistic to hopeful. Your choices can change your character's temperament. Certain dialogue choices are only available based on your temperament score. Interesting. Come now, surely things aren't so dire. It's up to me, seeing every impulse to an outcome, snuffing out the pleasures of a life, should I so desire. I need is peace and quiet, a place to clear my head.
Not sure if it's peaceful or quiet, but behind that padlocked door you might at least escape the stranger.
Okay. Chapter 1, Beggar's Lane. So we've got liquor bottles here. Explore the world around you to discover helpful items on your journey. East London hides many secrets. Highlight hotspots, which is tab, of course. Geneva, rot gut, and dry gin bottles are strewn about, broken and empty. Which of those are remnants of a day drowned in sorrow? Feels like ages ago. What's left of my stash? Your inner voices are at odds. When you choose one voice over another, this changes the balance of your humours. Over time, these voices become stronger. It's worth a closer look. Well, to make a skill check, you'll draw a card from one of the 4 minor arcana decks. Each deck contains cards numbered from 1, the ace, to 14, the king. They also contain the world, which will always succeed a skill check, and the fool, which will always fail and then reshuffle the deck. Continue. 5 of wands. Aha! Saving the best for last, a bottle of old Dom. Newspaper. The Illustrated London News, this week's edition. A fleet-footed journalist takes to the East End, underground and undercover, the hard-boiled scoop on the courtesan killer, who's really behind the murders, and what is Scotland Yard still hiding from the public? Read on for the gory details. This story will boil your blood. I shall ponder the news. As into the job, I suppose. It's a shame. No one deserves to die like that. That's true. And I've kept their company before. It could have been an acquaintance of mine. Ariana? I'd surely hope not, but it's been a while. I should check on her. Dolly's being hunted, it is rather curious. Short for dolly mops. Prostitutes. Let us investigate the murders. I'm no police special, but I'll see what I can find. Cane sword? Yes, please. An evening cane concealing a steel blade in a cherrywood sheath. Below the brass figurehead is a band of crushed velvet. Battle-scarred and with a well-worn handle. And suitable in aristocratic circles. Let's take it with us. Should really keep better track of my belongings, even on a gin bender. Okay. There's a thing up here. We can double-click and he'll trot along like a bullman in a top hat. A herring basket. A slatted wooden basket made from hazel cuttings. Willow branches weave around the bottom for support. Why am I up here looking at a basket? Surely I have more important matters to attend to. I can smell the rotting fish from here, several days past its prime. Let's lean in. Let's have a look. White strips of flesh swimming in a pool of decomposition. Kippered herring. Small oily fish that is salted or pickled. Then cold smoked over smouldering wood chips. Let us open it. 10 of cups, that'll do. The acrid smell brings tears to my eyes, but somehow my stomach doesn't empty itself out. Dig through it. In for a penny, in for a pound. Tossing the congealed skin onto the street, I land on something round and flat with milled edges, and it's not just the one. A couple of coins, and some spoiled herring. 2p added to inventory, and spoiled herring. I should probably bathe at the earliest opportunity. Well, I smell like flippin' herring now. Flippin' fermented fish odour. Vagrants down there. Let's have a look around this way. Palladium. Okay, let's look at the padlocked door. Every door that's blocking my escape from the stranger has an oxidized chain and a padlock over the asp. Should be a soft job, so long as this lock isn't rusted through. Let's break the damn thing. Well. Blast. Got it open, but I've done myself a mischief. Okay. Skin my knuckles is all. Wonder where this passage goes. Away from that stranger's enough for me. Enter warehouse. The passage is lined with stone walls, damp from the evening fog, an underground steam boiler used to heat the tenements above. Barrels line the walls and seem to occupy every available space in this underground storeroom. Cane rats scurry and squeak in the corners, kneading at their nests. The air is stagnant, full of dust and mould. A ways off, there's the sound of a pump house at work, no doubt channeling sewage into the Thames. There's a dim light ahead. Perhaps you can find help, or at least a way out of the stranger's grasp.
On your guard now. No telling what's down here.
I've seen the worst of the underground in my days. If trouble comes, I've got my blade and a silver tongue. Okay, so we've got a journal there. We've got inventory there. Money. 12 pence and a shilling. 20 shillings and a pound. decimal currency is much simpler, makes far more sense. A sleeping thug. Let's look in the wooden coffer first. Red cedar panelled and cornered with iron. A sturdy but time-worn container. Self-discipline. No need to break into everything. What am I, Minotaur or Magpie? No, we're gonna try it. Ah, the world. Nice. Bully, that felt right. It's been too long since I broke something. There's only that gin bibber behind us who might have heard, but he's too full of liquor to pay attention. What great treasure is this? Trousers with a bib sewn across, and a pulley zipper fastening. The head torch runs on a copper coil battery. There's boots and breeches, and the waistcoat has enough pockets to carry a dining set. To be sure, it's a sandhog uniform. Try it on. So what if I tear the seams? It's not like someone's missing this pile of rags. The shoulder flaps will have to hang loose, my chest being too wide to snap the buttons down the placket. Let us force it. Just gotta force it. Emptying my lungs, I abandon the brass buttons, reaching instead for the torso belts. They fasten at the very last punch hole. Okay. This could be a sign to lay off the swill for a while. Maybe so. The source of many troubles. But if I quit outright, I'll keel over. Better start with one less drink a day. Except that. Cut back on your drinking. One less a day. I can end with that. Don't be so sure. Naysayers will gab as they please, but I'm ready to change. It's enough maundering. Get on with it. Not exactly worthy of Petticoat Lane, but in the shadows it should do the trick. Huh. The 30-something cove writhing on the cobbles must have had his fill. He was on guard, easy now to get by him. We'll bash his head in. Might be safer that way. Ah, but he's only shickered beyond reason. Besides, maybe I know him. Can't say I know the poor sot, but I know the feeling. Tangle in his head and the bottles to blame. Anything in his pockets? Let's have a look. Clearly not. I reach into his pockets, but he's turning over and he just mumbles something in his sleep. Back off, don't wake him. Almost wake him up. Too risky to rob him now. Damn it. Ooh, gears and cogs, mouldy crate. Some bare bits and bobs from a clockwork engine. I could orc these to an engineer. I could indeed. Might be useful. Rope. Is it 50 foot of hempen rope? A length of braided horsehair, stale and hardly saleable. It's brittle, but with a proper tie it'll work. Mouldy crate. Battered crate, mouldering in a sewer grime. Glad I have this mask on, it should keep out the dust. Let's smash it open. It caves in with a crack and a cloud of fetid dust. Let's have a look. Here's something with a dull shine to it. It's a private eye. I can make use of this. Okay. Oh shit, there's somebody on the stairs. With that head torch, he could be on patrol. I don't suppose he takes kindly to trespassers. He's coming double quick. Where can I hide? The pool of shadows at the back of this hallway. And I'll fight him if I have to. His uniform is stricken with unspeakable filth, and even with my goggles on, his head torch is blinding. He smells worse than the sewer walls. Must be a bilgeman. Oh, Sandog. Presumption is tone. Does he not care for sandhogs? I won't take it personally. Not a sandhog anyway. What's that, eh, Sandy? Mumbling to yourself. Did I say that out loud? At least he hasn't noticed my ill-fitting uniform. What are you doing on this side of the tunnel? Shouldn't you have your head in the hole somewhere? Better lie, it's safer. Down here on official sandog business, you wouldn't crib. With a toss of his head, he laughs into his breathing tube, and the light from his head torch glances off the cobbles. Sorry there, Cove, I'm whooping at your expense, but it's just so difficult to imagine a sand pig with a delegation of duties. Drill here, drill there, drill a bit here, simple innit? Look, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. You know, I'm curious about sewer work. Do you have time for a rundown? Well, that's queer. Never knew a Sandy so curious. You sure you're a tunnel rat? Alright, you got me. I'm no sandog, but you don't frighten me. I'm running for someone much more dangerous. You don't know the first thing about danger trespassing down sewer is if you own the place. I'm calling the hounds in. Unless you turn tail like 60 right about now. Wasn't the reaction I'd hoped for. I suppose the fickle truth can fail, and a dire course of action is warranted. Look, before you get hot-headed, take a look at this. I swiftly draw the cane sword. This character has gained the intimidating trait and will now be able to select dialogue options that require this trait. Forge ahead. Let nothing stop you. Point me out of this cesspool, just a finger in the right direction. His breathing tube is quiet from the greater hiss of fear growing inside him. Alright. If you follow this passage, there's a grate that needs refastening. Been meaning to fix it, but aside from the way you came, I swear it's the only exit. Last decent answer from a less than decent man. Sure as sight. Sorry I stopped you. I'll just have to squeeze by, I suppose. Be seeing you. Interesting. I want to have a look at this manhole cover before I go too much further. Disc of wrought iron loosened by a crack. I've got a tool to open this. It's a heavy bugger, even with a tool. Yeah. Very easy with the pry bar. As opposed to the rope. Bully! That steel bar was the ticket. Just needed a little leverage. There's a latched compartment below the manhole cover, but it's padlocked too tightly to break. That's a capital lock. I'll need a key. Keep looking. There has to be something here. My fumbling hands come up empty. How about I reach back in the corners? Stoner crow's bloody cane rat bit me. Must have a nest. No chance that rat's getting the best of me. Stealing myself, I reach inside again. Bully, it's a £1 banknote. at last. A bit of fortune. It's torn, but it'll do. Unlocked a Major Arcana card. 19 from the Major Arcana to lock. Each is unlockable only by a specific player character. Okay. Unlock specific personality traits. Once unlocked, you'll be able to select unlock. Yep. Chariot! I did that! That was me! Okay. Furnace automaton? Brass-banded travelling trunk with sturdy corners, fit for a long voyage. It's out of place down here. There's tin inside, I'm sure of it. But the padlock has a carbon steel shackle, and pin tumbler is triple reinforced. Could try and pick the lock. I could try breaking it open, or I could try opening it with the pry bar. What? Damn. Shit. Hades, that thing's a lot sturdier than it already looks. I hope that isn't where the key is for that manhole. Speak up, who disrupts the air. Sandog business, please clear the way. Believe me, I wouldn't hold you back. It's nice to know another workman. Then you must know of the operations down here. It's about these barrels along the walls. No doubt they're being used for smuggling. Of course I know what's going on, but since you were so slapdash to bring it up, I need to make sure you haven't been beaching. Oh, that's right, and fly. The name's Hera, if it helps. File any reports you might need. I'm built to improve. That is H-E-R-A are blazoned upon its chest plate. Ask about the fire. Keeping the fire stoked, I say. Do you enjoy it? A delight in my work. I was made for it, and this boiler provides heat for the Shorelock tenements upstairs. As a sandhog yourself, you must know the reward of providing a service for the masses. What do the letters stand for? Heat Energy Regulation Automaton, the latest iteration. Hera, wife of Zeus. In any case, it suits you. Hera, captain of the Ghost. In any case, it suits you. I'm thrilled to hear it. Now, can I help you? I should get back to the flame. You were saying about the operations down here. Oh, well, the barrels you see along the walls are all full of gin. The hounds are distilling it with the heat from my boiler, and somehow the Shorelock tenements upstairs haven't caught on. These people must be freezing. It's only autumn now, but it feels like midwinter. I'd rather have the extra gin. It brings down the price. We can always deal with a little cold. A lot of my ilk came out from those tenements. I couldn't face the dockhounds alone. It's hard enough to keeping my own head above water. Aye, they won't easily be swayed. Bootlegging is a regular tin press. What else do you know about the gin barrels? Steam gets siphoned and the barrels come and go. Some are fresh, some have stood for several months, ready for a swiller. The cheeky devil is keeping track. The flame is healthy. I turn my attention to the walls. Before I know it, I'm wearing away. It's a queer feeling. If the hounds are stealing steam, then it's good reason to steal some of their bootleg for myself. I'm not fit with a virtue circuit, but if you've convinced yourself you're clear of any moral infidelity... And, where would I find a barrel that's aged a few months? Behind the furnace there's something of a staging area. That's where the barrels get carried out. Have a look for yourself, but I must get back to work. Okay. embers burning fiercely as if by the jewel-bright core of every flame on earth. Hot coals banked with an unsurpassed dexterity, errors all but eliminated. Nothing to do here but stare at the flames. Tiger, bright flames in the brass-bellied furnace, dying and living and dying and being reborn. A small fire, yet a microcosm of ever-burning, ever-changing oblivion. Sweltering temperature in the heart of the fire, a deadly dance that's hard to look away from. The heat billows out, and my face is sweating now, eyes half-lidded and glazed. Here is a glimpse of the end for so many, eternal pain for those who believe in it, or for the lost ones who believe in nothing. Sometimes there's a voice in these unexamined objects, and I need only listen well enough to hear it. Keep staring. It's wonderful, but I better stop before I damage what little sight I have. Alright. Go to the sewers. Edging through the grate, you're greeted by the drowning sound of rushing water and a smell that's near unbearable, hanging in the air so thick you can almost taste it. Hooves are clumsy in the dark as you stumble along the passageway, the sound of water flow and machinery echoing off the bricks from all directions. A meshing of gears that's familiar but unsettling. Following the light, you come into a torch-lit chamber. But it seems you're not alone. Notes of troubled voices peek over the noise, an air of indignance and irritation, but also of fear and desperation. Something's not right here. You've stumbled on an argument, no doubt, but worse than that is deep foreboding. Something else shares these sewers, a deeper evil crawling through the bowels of London. Well. Blocked passage over there. A patrolman. A welter of bricks and rotting planks blocking the way through. Come back with an axe, that'll do the trick. Run into more daunting obstacles. Just have to give this a wide berth. Okay. A barrel perched on the ledge while the argument rages. I can hide up here and watch the dispute. Let's do that. Let's have a listen. You'll pad me pockets until I say da. He's hounding this poor girl for capital. Only a ladsman would stoop so low. And if so, then she must be a cut-purse. Capital? Money. Ladsman? A criminal teaching children how to steal in exchange for a cut of profits and or other assistance such as safe lodging. Fagin. Cut-purse. A pickpocket.
I'm sick of stealing, and I'm sore at begging all the more. It's shameless.
Pity. But the odds are in his favour. The poor girl's got strapping tape holding her boots together. Let's intervene quickly. Better think fast. What can I do from here? The barrel teeters at the edge. It'll sure distract him if it doesn't smash him dead. A fine idea. It's ludicrous, but I like it. It worked as well. Heavy lugger too. Must be full of moonshine. Catching him dead in the chest, he's off his feet. The cut purse watches the old badger wash away. Oh, shut. Come along down here so I can say thanks. Right, be down in a moment. That was rather amusing. Dingy spot in which to find such bits and bobs. Hardly doubt anyone's coming back for them. You'd hand those over to an engine man. Yes, they might indeed prove useful. Cut purse. Jedi with a barrel, eh? You've no idea what a burden he was. One less double-dealing scoundrel. Glad to be rid of him. Thanks for the assistance. My name's Atticus Johansson. Pleased to be acquainted. I'm Atticus Daley. That lout did show us how to make a living, but there's never any future for us, so I'm thinking of joining a circus that travels around Europe. I loved the circus when I was younger. Snuck in through the back fence where the animals was kept. I'm not sure if I love it, but it seems to be a way out. The sadness in her voice like an heavy rain at sea, damp and in the bones. What's your talent then? Throwing knives. Where the wheel is spun and a living target is skillfully avoided. Practice with Bertram till he disappeared. Now I don't know whether to look for him or leave the city. What about London? Nothing here for me now. What is it you still need my help with? It's about Bertram. If he's alive, I'd like to say goodbye before I leave with the circus. Bertram. A close friend? My best in the city. If he's alive, I'd like to say goodbye before I leave with the circus. If you don't get to the bottom of it, you might regret it forever. Advice I should have taken myself. Oh, that's right. There was a woman once. When I was living in Galway. No, it's too painful. Besides, the girl is starting to stare. Sir, you were drifting off there. Only a momentary lapse, I assure you. Or a momentary lapse, perhaps. Is there any chance you'd help me find Bertie? He went missing along with his sister Julie. Oh, bloody hell, why not? Oh, thank you, Mr. Daley. It isn't much, but take these cogs for your troubles. I'll see what I can find for myself, and then I'll meet up with you, and we can share information like police specials. Bully! I'd make a fine detective. Bertram and I were living down here, but now the water's too high to get to our hidey hole. There's so many of us going missing. Better get moving on anyway. What about the hidey hole? We had a little safe house behind the retaining wall, but now with the pump house being serviced, the water's too high to get there. I'll see about draining the water then for you. Thanks. You're welcome to anything we left in there. How can I find you should we need to meet again? I shall give you my card, child. Take my visiting card in case you need to get in touch with me. I'm not often home, but you can leave a message with Anselina in the shop below my quarters. Of course, Mr. Daley. Together, I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of this. I hope so, Atticus Johansson. Oh, a flask. Let's grab that. Somebody hid a bottle back here. Looks like a nostrum. Purportedly effective medicine available without prescription. Smells rather dangerous, at least to the inexperienced. Might be useful. A flask of laudanum. Well, why not? Why not indeed? Monstrous door of high carbon steel. No way through without a key or a high explosive. Bell end, if only it was open. Expletive signifying contempt. No, it's a bloody metaphor for the end of a man's parts. Treacherous, no doubt, but also full of intrigue. Must lead to an even murkier chamber. Haha, that's the ticket. No escape from the stranger this way. You'll need a key for the door. Ah, right, okay. Now, I'm going to try something. Ah! F5 is quick save. Excellent. Let's talk to this patrolman. A patrolman up ahead. Don't flex a muscle. Who's that creeping in the shadow light? State your business. The Cyclops with a pack spade. Standard issue for sewer work. Oi, Sandog, what's your business here? He's full of piss and vinegar, but also full of poppycock. I'll wager his authority's a claim and nothing more. Already have the stranger to worry about. Why, am I up to challenging this lanky bloke as well? Wit, lie. Animal instinct, intimidating. Assert yourself. Or spryness, apologise and ask for the way out. Let's lie. Haha, success. Tunnel work, nothing of import. Well, I'm the pump house captain and this chamber's in my bailiwick, so be more specific. Excellent delivery, but he's just not buying it. Better try an honest approach. But I can't lie, I'm not really a sand-dog. Well, even so, if you're creeping about down here, then I must have your name and citizen number. Give him a false name, that'd shake the heat. And again, what's another mark on my record? It's not like I overpay the fines. Sure, it's Arthur Dale, CN 678751. Charlatan trait. Excellent. Excellent. We'll be in touch with a proper citation. I bet you won't. Apparently this bloke's a grandee. Better get some answers while I can. So how do you drain the water around here? Any way to cut off the water flow in this chamber? Not with the pump house being out of order. Well, where's the bloody way out then? Perhaps towards the pump house. Off limits, sides. She's not down for maintenance. If I were you, I'd head up street side before the morning doves. Right then, Captain. I'll just be on my way. Pump house captain breathes a sigh of relief, eager to get back to his patrol. Huh. Is he now? Through the hall is a chorus of machinery, the torpid crank of some heavy clockwork, the chittering of a telegraph and the ever-present rumble of steam in the walls. The archway is fit with a blast door that's been left open and control room for the pump house, no doubt. Well. Navy locker. Wooden locker with steel dowels and bolts. Embossed with the seal of the senior service. The engineer won't mind, and I'll straighten him out if he does. Despite the squeaky hinges, he didn't hear a thing. And look at all those bottles, it's full of liquor. I'll have to be quick about it. But we've done it. Why? McGrady's gin? Blind as a beetle, that engineer. Must have got lucky, I won't chance it again. Okay. Engineer. Speak. Respectfully, Sandhog, I've got a deal of maintenance on my hand. There's a grizzled face and a world-weary slump to his shoulders, yet there's still a spark in his eyes. Better make a decent impression out the gate, or he mightn't spare me any time. Well, let's frighten him to his core then. Tell me what I need to know, or I'll cut you in half and string you up for all the sewers to see. Are you saying you're a swordsman? As it happens, I have a fear of sharp objects. That's right, mate. But I won't have to cut you if you answer my questions. Well, in that case, go right ahead. Tell me about the barrels first. Oh, mate, shit. Pull out a 1. Smelled something pure in the barrels on my way down. Bootleg? Too preoccupied to blather with a stranger about it. Must be quite outgoing at public house gatherings. Let me ask you something else then. Spit it out then. What's the quickest way out of the sewers, apart from heading back up that tunnel, of course? I'd rather not say. I'm quite busy at the moment, but you must know these passages inside and out. Bloody Christ. Pump house is the only way out, but it's locked down for maintenance. Now I must get back to work. Is there no escape from the fates conspiring against me? I'll leave you to it then. Control panel. Meters and levers gleam in the torchlight. And crank handle. Wooden handle attached to a cylindrical crank. Why don't we give it a whirl? Wonder what it does. Let's give it a turn. There we go, it's catching on some unseen sprocket. I can force this. I can't force this. Handle's not moving, it must be locked. I'll have a heart attack if I keep it at this. Right then, forget it. Forget it indeed. That can bog right off. Okay. Now. Let's go up here, back up to Beggar's Lane. Seems the way to go at the moment. There was no escape in the sewers, only more danger that you've narrowly dodged. But it's nothing so ghastly as what might become of you at the hands of the stranger. Oh shit, I accidentally clicked. God damn it. Okay, containment fence. Let's have a look at that. Military grade, reinforced with barbed wire. The sign reads, Werewolf Containment Zone in luminescent paint. Electric bolts arc between the fence posts, the smoky ozone scent flooding your nostrils. Worth a look around, might be another way through. No harm in a look. Well, hey. Got the world. Silk-wrapped cables running into a switch box. That must be the power source. I'm no engineer, but I might be able to power that fence down from that switch box. Let's go and grab some gears and cogs first. Worth a little tin, if you deal them to an engine man. The old crone can't keep her mouth shut. It seems to be a fairly common issue with old crones. More gears and cogs. Wagon. Some wayward cartwright abandoned their wagon here. Beyond it, tenements and a dead end. It's got me hemmed in. Damn masked stranger. Okay. Missing poster. Julian Bertram O'Brien. Orphans missing from Sacred Heart Orphanage. Small reward furnished upon any information leading to their safe return. Please have a heart for our poor children. The Sisters of the Sacred Heart, 22 Cherrywine Lane, East End, London. Alms accepted. These are the poor children Annika mentioned. Brother and sister gone missing from where I was brought up. Being an orphan myself, should I be the one to investigate? There are unsettled spirits in the docklands, and like it or not, I play a part in their pageantry. Hopefully not as some marionette with strings to pull for their amusement. I should leave no cobble unturned. Something's not right here, and orphans in the docklands need all the help they can get. Excuse me, vagrants? Do you know anything about these missing orphans? You haven't cooked them up and eaten them, have you? Two rootless souls taking their ease in the heat of a steam vent, one of the few free comforts to be had in old London town. This one is Poe Pickett, drifts around the city so much it's hard not to know him. Might not remember me, though. Bold that damn dash, that landlord. Bloody meter refuses to fix the heat in my abode. Them mutton shunters cast me out on the bricks like a flicking an ant off a slave. The unfortunate's companion lies stretched out on the ground, his tattered garments splashed with ale stains. His beard wriggles like a living thing every time he exhales. Is it just his breath blowing dust off the bristles, or could it be insects alive in the tangles? Not that I miss the old quarters, no. With the endless boiler troubles, it's just not much warmer in there than out here. He looks at me askance. Wager his mood still needs thawing. Oi, Horns, if you're not handing out our meals, bugger off. Talking takes sinking. I ain't got a lot of that to spare, in case you didn't notice. Yeah, right, okay. Look it, a Minotaur whose eyes are just as bad as his ears. Like I said the first time, unless you got a morsel for old Poe, just bugger off. Would you like some herring? What the devil is this? You're trying to send me 6 feet under? Hey gee, you're nothing but a jester. Okay. Then, no, I have nothing for you, Poe Pickett. At least, not yet. Let's enter the Palladium. Last night's hard to recall. Bodily aches suggest they threw me out around closing time. Okay, we cannot go into the Palladium because we've been thrown out of the Palladium, it would seem. Well, let's check out the overground station. It's the witching hour, so of course the trains aren't running. No escape from the stranger this way. Shit! Well, nothing else for it. We've got to turn off the werewolf fence. Battered metal switchbox secured by a chain and padlock. This pry bar should do the job. It's really useful. Bully! That did it. Now cut the power and up the fence. That'll put some acres between me and the stranger. It's 4 meters high with voltage running through the res coils. Bit risky. Can't be that hard to cut the current. Pull the red wire, eh? That'd be a no. A sharp shock runs down my fingers, burning through my centre before petering off into nothing. I'll have to come back with someone who knows circuitry. Blast and buggery. Well. Okay, just bugger off, apparently. Okay, let's do another run through the warehouse. Nothing else here but a dusty old coffer. Can't deal with him because I nearly woke him up before. The manhole cover, I need a key for the thing. The mouldy old crate. There's nothing there but a pile of mouldy old crates. Okay, a barrel like any other standing upright. This will take the edge off. I'm tapping this barrel. The gin hits my belly and the taste is delicious. Now, that's what I call bootleg. Let's have another. There we go. That'll do. Okay. Hey, Hera. Okay. You can't help. Fine. Oi, engineer fella. Let me ask, do you like living? Mother of Mount Olympus, what kind of question is that? That's one way to get a fellow's attention. Tell me what's in the barrels upstairs. Christ, hounds are rumming. Well, it's gin, really. 25 barrels a week. Sometimes all it takes is the flash of my cane sword. Now I see. What's your name anyhow? Sean Teller. Atticus Daley. It's a pleasure. Would you mind putting that blade away? Doubt he has the guts to mouth off to me now. My mistake. I plumb forgot. Fancy a drink? I keep the bottles in the locker there. Fetch them while I finish these readings. Sounds like we're a bunch to plunge into a pool of firewater. Let's see if this liquor's any good. Let's have another one. Tempting, but I was thinking of... Ah, no, let's have one. Why not? To your health, Teller. What do you think, then? The flavour's ripe. A banquet for the senses. That's the spirit. Let's have another. I'll be damned, that's quite good. We're for peace then. Got this purity from a ramshackle distillery. Coppers keep busting them up before anyone can own it down. If I gush about the gin too much, then he might start yattering about the distillation process. That's beyond wonderful. Only medicine that ever did me any good. I've been watching how the hounds are doing it. When work's slow, the pump house captain and I have a couple of drinks, and I marvel at the vats in the pump house. There's a dreamy glow in his eyes. With the tin and gumption, I'd leave these dials to some other cove. If I had my own stills, I'd mix up liquor mothers had used to feed babes. A dream's only a dream till you follow it, eh? You'll do it someday. Ah, the allure of ambition. Still, pride can make a man fiendish. Now then, want to hear about that ladsman? He's referring to the quarrel down below. As it happens, I took care of him. Blood and thunder! Bold of you to step in. But just a minute, you're not a cop and snark, are you? He looks rather serious, like the gin's wearing off. Can't stand a copper. Glad to hear it. One more question. That crank atop the stairs, what's it for? Controls the sluice gate, raising and lowering water down the below, but that peaky bastard always jams up. Good thing I won't need it again till the pump house is operational again. Well, Mr. Teller, I've kept you long enough. Don't tell anyone I gave you a free sample. I will not, sir. Okay. Okay, right. Well. Escaping the this old crone rumbling in your mind. Will another gin slumber put a seal on her words, or is she now more than a figment? Is she in step with your pulse and your heartbeat, so deeply rooted you might never escape her raspy chattering? By the break of morning you should have some answers, but until then you stumble on the cobblestones, half-woken, the hangover clawing your skull like a prisoner in bondage. Well. Humours, yes. Okay, fine. Well, looks like it's the stranger that I have to... Oh, unless I can go... No, I can't. Okay. Let's talk to him. He's waiting with a cold stare and a hand on his flintlock. All done mucking about down there. About time. How do you know that? This ridiculous sandog uniform, no doubt. How'd you like the finery? Yeah, it might have served you down there, but it's not permissible where we're going. Does he ever lighten up? Right then, you ruddy sight. Let's get going. We'll need you batting on a full wicket. Shall I let him ragdoll me around East London? Not a chance. With my stature, I should get the best of him. Still, it's a question of speed and dexterity. I'll make a pass for the flintlock revolver on his waist. But he's too fast. He catches my wrist where the bones are delicate, wrenching me elbow in the opposite direction. I can only hope not to be crippled. You can't shake me off. I'm not one of your debts. His stare fills me with visions of the battlefield, the death that he doled out as a soldier reflected in his own eyes. All I can perceive is the stranger's thin lips muttering under the mask. Blood runs from my nose, and the ringing in my ears obscures all other sounds. Fine then, I'll go along willingly. But if I'm to meet my end, please spare me the pain of it. I'm glad we understand each other. So where are you taking me then? Somewhere you'll be more comfortable. Look, I'd rather not suffer any more than I have to, but at some point you'll tell me what you're planning. There's no time for dawdling. Bellhandy hasn't any conscience. If it seems like London left you behind, humour me for the evening. Otherwise I'll deliver the bounty on your head, and I won't have wasted any time. Okay. Your headache rages with a fierce second wind, and every step is a hammer and nail in your psyche. The stranger's reckless pace only makes matters worse, his arm like a vice grip, dragging you down a maze of twisted alleyways. Maze? Okay. Until at last a string of paper lanterns appears. Boys in a sickening sea of night, the cherry glow of Red Lantern Lane. Within waves of jasmine and sandalwood incense, memory washes fear away. This might be the only place that could convince you to keep on living, even just for a night. The gas mantle above the door fills you with fondness, cleansing the rust of your mind-gouging hangover. You've arrived at the Red Lotus Den, the only place you've ever felt at home. No need to be pulled along now. You go willingly inside. Happy now. Body aches and a deep uncertainty in the bones. It's hard to be happy like this. Allow me to rephrase. Have you ever been happy? I can't say that I have, but I've gotten close to it here. Withdrawals. They can muddle our head and make us weak. Don't worry, you'll feel better soon. Change in area. I think I should probably get changed. Towels and bathrobes disarrayed in cubbies. Away from prying eyes, a fine place for a change of appearance. Let's see, what to do. Self-discipline illusionist. Cast your illusion. Let's look human. Why not? Sight from the fire, hearing from the ether, smell from the air, and taste from the water, touch down to the earth in another form. Let's play it safe for the time being. No need for any confrontation. Street lamp glare. A guttering grease lamp pings through the glass. The burning feels good in my eyes, like I'm slowly waking up. Bath. Bath is need. Steaming bath awaits your tired bones. Wouldn't it be good to get cleaned up? Yes, it would. More spryness. How about not smelling like vomit and cane rats? We shan't offend ladies. Centaur bouncer. And a mahogany bar. A brass-linteled mahogany bar lined with candles, casting eerie shadows on the centaur behind it. There doesn't seem enough room for a centaur behind that bar, to me. It just looks way too hemmed in. His equine muck sweat cuts through the smell of incense. Careful there, centaurs are known to have short fuses, especially at long hours in service occupations. Look, some centaurs have been kind to me. I won't pass judgment until he proves me wrong. Well, how about Mr. Browncoat? He's rather unique. Aye, Bixby Browncoat, the owner here at the Lotus. Most nights he's waiting at the bar, so I hope he hasn't taken ill. Maybe if I wait around, Bixby will show up. But he could be gone a while. Must be the press of business drawing him away from the front of house. The centaur leers, his misshapen chin a shelf for his cigarette, jutting from a jangle of bad teeth. Didn't see you come in. How can I help? Entrance to the Lotus, please. I'll have to check the list. Now, where did Bixby say it was? Oh, hello, Bixby. Our trot's Mr. Browncoat, surely come to see what the fuss is about. He wears a long-faced countenance, a gold pocket watch, and a lavender-tinted pince-nez settled low on his aquiline nose. Despite his careful preening, the turbulence of a life lived in the margins shows on his face. Now, here's Atticus. The bouncer appears to roll his eyes while lighting a fresh cigarette. Glad to see you, Bixby. And you as well, Atticus. I'm glad to see you've brought us a brand new customer. Now then, Paradise awaits behind the curtain. Bixby ushers you through the door and leads the way down the back stairs, the stranger on your heels like a stubborn shadow. The Red Lotus is draped in a haze of pale smoke, dotted with flickering candles and incense glowing like cinders in the night. The smell of burning opium is dark and rich, like a batch of overdone biscuits, with a sharp, fishy afterbite. The pale red glow from the Chinese lanterns paints the space in perpetual twilight. It's easy to lose track of time within these walls, whiling away your days in a blissful waking dream. It does sound like a rather fun establishment. Opium Maniac! Let's go and talk with the Opium Maniac. What's that gear-clattering racket? A jet of steam cuts through the quiet of the den. Oh, bugger off, you brass bucket. Worth a try. My voice cracks in my throat before I can elicit any fear, and the bolt brain might not be capable anyway. Oh my, what savagery! I'm shaking in my rivets. I must go round and report to my master, but rest assured it's not because you've frightened me at all. Off it goes, heading for the private section. Where'd that masked stranger get off to? I don't care, there's an opium maniac over here to look at. A sleeping poppy head is draped over a mattress in the corner, drooling idly onto his shirt. Fancy that. An errant wallet is poking up out of the corner of his slacks. It yearns to be free. His wrist's right over it, though. This'll likely be a risky lift. Good enough. Let's do it. And we got the world. Easy, easy. Wait, what's that in the crack behind him? To clarify, the Ruel. One needs to be clear about posterior clefts. One does. It's much easier to get to, for one thing. Oh, damn pound. What did this tosser even intend to do with this? A stupid or despicable person. Perhaps he meant to get himself some teeth or a monocle. £2, 2p. Fair enough. Incense pot. Sticks of heady incense waft in the air. Always burning, no matter the flow of customers. Sunken area. The floor pit has benches with tufted upholstery and pillows costing a halfpenny an hour. It's so late that most of the patrons have gone to sleep. Just before sunup is the only time the Red Lotus is empty. Sleeping gents. 2 workmen blissfully free from the waking world and their meaningless existence. Bookshelf. A sturdy yet musty old bookshelf. The spines show such titles as Arcane Magic on the Eastern Edge of Ruin, Opium Through the Ages, and Parlour Games, Love in the Dream Time. Dwarf and an automaton? Evening, stranger. The dwarf has a warm and amiable look, with a set of crystal blue eyes, sharply intelligent, and a red moustache that is so full it could crawl off his face and build a cocoon. That's a full moustache. His beard is elegantly braided in the common style. I finger the brass rings in my own goatee, which is coarse and stringy by comparison. How'd you do? Just fine. Some kind of inventor, are you? Alright, name's Theodore Redgrave, Brotherhood of Boffins. But call me Teddy, most people do. Brotherhood of Boffins. Your automaton, has it got a name? This here is Otto. Perfectly friendly he is, if a little odd. That stands to reason. Though who among us isn't a little odd? Struth if I've heard it. What can I call you, sir? Atticus Daley. Teddy pats the automaton with his fat paw. Mr. Daley, from the both of us, it's a pleasure. Otto's going to need some tweaks before the brawls. We'll have him fit as a fiddle by then. Otto's a brawler, eh? So far, he's only watched from the sidelines, but someday he'll fight with the other battle traps. No emotion from the automaton, of course, but one can't help but wonder how it feels about all this. See, I'm an hunter of fell beasts and monster. After the werewolf fights, those outlawed wretches are all tatterdemalion. Much easier to take in, for a bounty. Only 3 days ere the wool where the moon is full-bellied. Better have a good mind too, you're betting on. Yes, the pit fights have been to my fair share. They're good for a wager or two. Bully, I just knew you were a man of culture, and that's on top of having a kind of stature I look for in a cove eager to be on my docket while partaking in pit fights. You're a fetching offer, but I can't commit just yet. Besides, the stranger wouldn't want me to be led astray by such endeavours. He strikes me as the kind of fellow who'd cross oceans and deserts, while giving chase to his quarry. Wait a moment, if I had a little scrap to sell, would you be interested? And sure, those cogs are worth a bit of sterling. Well, Here, have these. 18 shillings. Pleasure doing business, Mr. Daley. Take care, Teddy. Well, there's a dreamer here. Another gentle customer off on a journey to the land of Nod. Another chicken asking to get plucked. Perhaps I should have a little riffle through his pockets. Perhaps we should. Oh, goody. And so the fingers go a-walking. He shivers in his slumber and half turns over, a close thing. That's what makes it so thrilling. I've got his billfold now, almost 5 shillings. Not bad for a minute's work. Not bad indeed. £3 2 and 9. Not bad. Lattice wooden screens and high-backed seating provide some comfort and privacy for those that can afford it. If the booths are made of a luxurious calf leather, well-oiled and plush with dimpled riveting. Delicate china and exclusive menus of the den's offerings are available for those of a more discerning taste. Seems I'm in for a treat on account of the stranger's pocketbook, as fat as a Christmas goose. Let's make the most of it then. Surely he didn't bring me here for the elevated conversation and pleasure of my company. Better be on my guard. He could have already killed me and collected on my bounty, but he didn't. I guess I should hear him out.
It's worth seeing what he's after.
Ah! She's still chiming in as if she had some kind of preferential status. Let's get on with this. The menu is embossed with an array of oral morphines, liquid and powder cocaines, and all manner of midnight oil. So, midnight oil is opium and not a particularly good Australian rock and roll band from the 1980s. Teddy seems an interesting chap, and the automaton is quite something, isn't it? Look, bugger the small talk. Why'd you bring me here? We've got plenty of time for explanations. Why don't we start with a sample of some of the den's wares? Now we're talking. Perhaps this fellow's not so bad after all. With so many dear poisonous variations, it's hard to decide what will hit the spot. I must say I'm impressed with your discretion. I would have thought just any fix would do. Thanks, I suppose, but I know it's not from the kindness of your heart. We'll see if you sing the same tune when it's said and done. Now then, while you think about the entree, I'll prepare the appetizer. He takes a small tablet out of his shirt sleeve, cracks it in half, and drops it into my teacup. The other half goes into his own. You can't expect me to drink that. Half and half, an equal dose. I wouldn't kill us both now, would I? Oh, fine. Let's have it. Down the hatch, then. Well then, cheers to not killing anyone. The drugged tea restores my spirits instantly. Took me ages to perfect this remedy. This new blend, that ghastly teeth-gnashing anxiety's gone, leaving just the euphoria. Seems this stranger is no stranger to drugs. The pains of my withdrawals are all but absent now. And for the main course, how about white wind elation? You must be fond of that one. His light-hearted confidence seems like a front. I get the feeling he knows you better than he's letting on. Ah, no, that's old crone. Sorry, wrong voice. Will somebody please shut her up? This bloody stranger's already enough trouble. Enough of this facade. Not only did you pick my local place, but you pretend to suggest my favourite blend like it was a lucky guess. I know a little something about you, it's true, but as part and parcel to my profession. I keep tabs on people who pique my interest. What is your profession exactly? Let's say I look after Her Majesty's interests with great vigour when they align with my own. First his cryptic speech was alluring, but now it's plainly an annoyance. How have you been tracking me? It wasn't all that difficult. You only have a few haunts. On with it then. You've tried my patience long enough. Very well. I already know of your life as a roughneck, streetwise ruffian under illicit employ, and a panhandling mage, but what about before that? What about the Sacred Heart? The orphanage? Oh no. Ah! What's that, a church? Not much of a believer myself. It's possible you've effaced those memories. Tell me about your parents. Shit. I don't remember my mother. If you're going to lie, at least be better at it. Now it's just a few memories and it won't be very painful. This fellow's lost his mind. Something occurred at the Sacred Heart that you've forgotten. With the help of an opium dream, we might recall the details that will lead to your mother. Lead me to a gravesite, you mean? What would that accomplish? On the contrary, I believe she's alive. Her name came up on a ledger at Bethnal House. I've seen my share of swindlers, but this takes the cake. Just humour me for a moment. Matilda is, of course, her given name, but how about her family name? Look, if I ever knew it, there's no chance in hell I'd remember it now. But if you could recall Matilda's family name, and it's on record at the orphanage and matches the ledger at Bethnal House, you could prove her identity at the hospital and by claiming kinship set her free. That means digging up memories of the Sacred Heart, not exactly how I thought the night would unfold. Look, I'm sure if my mother's alive, she's forgotten me. I don't mean to sway your opinion, but unless you can think back to those troubling times, then you won't be worth more than the price on your head. He's offering me a chance to live, but only if I can draw up those memories. So, what'll it be? A dream dose? And a voyage between the banks of memory, or the death dose and the end of all your days? The fact that you can take the death dose if you are at weary or worse is interesting, but we'll go with the dream dose. You take the stranger's offer, eager to lose touch with harsh reality and for a chance to recall everything that could lead to your mother's whereabouts. Shortly after drifting away from consciousness, you'll find yourself being enveloped by a miasma of repressed memories. The stranger's recent inquiries reminding you of growing up in the Sacred Heart orphanage. Auntie Emma's warm embrace suddenly morphs into chilly restraints as remembrances of dooryard scuffles with bellicose orphans resurface. It's as if life's refusing to allow you to seek refuge from tangible hardships, no matter how potent your drug of choice for escapism is. This place, it's surely a dream, but it's all too familiar.
You must find out what the stranger is seeking in your memories.
Yes. Statue? The open arms of the angel were purely symbolic. I never had a home in this dreadful place. In truth, I spent most of my time travelling through fantasies looking for a place to call my own. Never did find it, though. Sister Heloise. The courtyard is nothing but packed sand, hard-packed sand and scruffy grass. Heloise watches over the children at play. By this time, you were big enough to give as good as you got, and the ones who wouldn't fight you insulted you with abandon. I had to hold my own, and I thought if I ran away I could make it on the streets. Atticus, you'll be 12 years old in a week's time. There's something I need to tell you. What's the difference? I'm getting out of here as soon as I can. Now, Atticus, let's hear what she has to say. It's about your mother. I should have told you sooner, but I didn't know how. I'm sorry, Atticus. I wish I'd been more brave. At least you're telling me now before I quit this place. The day you arrived, there was a ring wrapped up in your blankets. You're old enough to have it now, and your mother left this too. Heloise hands me an old piece of parchment, a note from my mother. Can you make out what it says? Sorry. Can you make out what it says? No. There's no message. I can't produce a memory. The truth will come in time. I'm sorry I kept this from you for so long. Did she ever come back for me? She came back half a year later and insisted you were her child. She mentioned the note and knew the date we found her on the steps. Why didn't I go with her? Hush, Heloise is coming to that. As your mother signed in at the registry, a horse and buggy drew up outside, and there was a terrible shout as someone bowled over the sister at the door. When this fellow burst in, your mother went stiff as a corpse. Could it have been my father? I don't know who he was, but he struck a panic in my heart. There was malice in his every step, a twitching, insidious man. He took your mother, and she never returned. I forgot about this day for good reason. Perhaps you were too young to hear the tale. Hearing this from Heloise heartened me at the time, but it still didn't change the fact that I couldn't stand being at Sacred Heart. After I fled the orphanage, I did search for my mother, until I decided there was nothing I could do. Perhaps not then, but this is now. This is now, isn't it? Sister Heloise again? Bits of coloured chalk were the most sought after. It's too bad they were so often wasted on crude drawings. I see you've recovered from your latest round of fisticuffs. Anything you to say for yourself? Look, sometimes it's like I go blind for a few minutes. When I wake up, I'm crying and cut up, and everyone's staring at me and laughing. You poor child, you've suffered long enough. It's time you learned what your bloodline is capable of. Must be another ploy to get me to stay. But I'll be 13 in a few months, and then I'm running off for good. Being singled out as a Minotaur, always having insults thrown at you, it's terrible. The bright spot is that you have the gift of magic. You can develop your talents if you study the tarot. She fans out the colourful cards. They seem to buzz with an eerie electricity. Look closely at this card, the Magician, a symbol of new beginnings. One arm to the heavens and the other toward the earth. He's a conduit between the spiritual and material realms. The Magician transmutes potential energy from its ethereal state into perceptible forms. I can't say I buy it, but I'm listening. That's the spirit. Minotaurs are magical creatures, and like this magician, you are a conduit. I committed the spell to memory long ago. I'll share it with you, but only with your promise of wholehearted trust. Okay, Eloise, I know you wouldn't lead me astray. I trust you. And I trust you, Atticus. Because if my superiors should learn of this, I'll never wear the habit again. Now, this is a cantrip. You must speak it over and over until it's written across your mind in bold letters. Her voice drops into a strange, low whisper. Sight from the fire, hearing from the ether, smell from the air and taste from the water, touch down to the earth in another form. Aristotle defined 5 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste and hearing, corresponding to the elements of fire, air, water, earth and ether. I think I understand, except for that bit about ether. Ether is the energy propelling each heartbeat, the same material in the soul and the consciousness of all blooded creatures. Those with proper training can channel ether into the earthly sphere. Therein lies the power of the cantrip, the ability to transmute energy into matter. Ether is tied to hearing, so first you must learn to listen. You must hear the winds and the wiles of the heavens. See, the night's getting on. What about the rest? Knight of Wands. Oh, retrospective trait. We'll now be able to select dialogue options requiring it. Excellent. I held my hands over the tarot cards and we sat quietly until I heard a voice like an oral mirror, as if the words were backwards. Then I felt my lips moving, and when I opened my eyes, we were breathing the words of the cantrip in unison. The memory cuts to the quick, but at least it's still intact. Well done, moving right along. Is it time to wake up? I dare say I'm ready for this to be over. Not yet. Oh, a teddy bear! A teddy bear with missing eye and matted mohair fur. It suffered the pitfalls of a rough life in the orphanage, just like the rest of us. This is my bed right next to Snyder. And here in the footlocker I kept a few trinkets. Worthless, a lot of them. When midnight strikes, I'll be 13 years of age. Father Franco keeps the orphanage funds in a private office. That's my ticket out of here. We shall sneak past Snyder. Successfully. Quiet as a ghost. With hooves. Now I'd better make for the office where they keep the coin. Lockbox. There's enough here to get me started on my own. Paid hurt. But 100 leagues between me and the Sacred Art. What's that? Sounded like it came from the hallway. The house is roused. Better make my exit. 20-foot drop from the second story, but I'd rather a twisted ankle than a date with the willow switch. There's a voice in the corridor, but it's too late. I can't make out a face. Is it Heloise? What you did here, it hurt the Sacred Heart. We fell behind. We skipped over holidays and knitted clothes for the children. But it didn't happen like this. She didn't catch me in the act. The memory's been twisted by guilt. I needed this money. How else would I have made it on my own? The same way that we made our way without it. But alas, my child, the past is the past. And there's only one way to make it right. Oh, now I really need to find those damn missing orphans, don't I? Normally I'd say that drifting into deep sleep would be a merciful release from reliving such memories. Yet something compels me to push on, to be put through the ringer, to face that greatest of foes, myself. You leap from the window of your childhood memory and into a haze of opium clouds. When you awaken once again, it will be into a stunningly air-pointed airship as the courtesan Clara Reed, one of the other characters in Sovereign Syndicate. Stay tuned for release so you can continue the story. Thanks for playing, and don't forget to add us to your wish list. Well, that's cool. I want more. That was good. It was lots of fun.